It's really fascinating how the media landscape can shape our perceptions, isn't it? I mean, take a look at what's happening in India right now. The term Godi Media has been thrown around a lot lately, and it's not just a catchy phrase. It encapsulates a troubling reality where certain media outlets are more like propaganda machines than actual news sources. You have these channels that are openly sympathetic to the BJP and RSS, and their narratives seem to be crafted with a specific agenda in mind. It's almost like they've become a factory for manufactured news, churning out stories that serve a political purpose rather than informing the public. Now, let's dive into what this means for our neighbors in Bangladesh. There's an interim government in place, and instead of reporting on the complexities of that situation, you see these outlets pushing a narrative that favors the ousted Sheikh Hasina. It's not just about political preference, it's about creating a climate of tension and mistrust. And how do they do it? By spreading fake news, of course. They're not just reporting, they're instigating. They're trying to fan the flames of racial tension in a country that doesn't need that kind of chaos right now. Think about it. These media outlets are not just reporting on events, they're shaping a perception that can lead to real-world consequences. And what's even more alarming is how they manage to get away with it. You have platforms like Rumor Scanner that are dedicated to fact-checking and debunking these false narratives, yet the reach of this manufactured news is staggering. It spreads like wildfire, and before you know it, people are absorbing this misinformation as if it were gospel truth. Why is this happening? Well, it's all about power and control. When you control the narrative, you control the populace. You create an us versus them mentality, and suddenly, it's not just about politics. It's about identity. It's about creating divisions where there shouldn't be any. And that's dangerous. It's a tactic as old as time. But in today's digital age, it's even more potent. The speed at which misinformation travels is mind-boggling, and the consequences are often irreversible. But let's not forget the role we play in this. As consumers of news, we have a responsibility to be vigilant. We can't just take everything at face value. We need to be critical thinkers to question the sources of our information. If something sounds outrageous, it probably is. And that's where tools like Rumor Scanner come in handy. They're doing the hard work of sifting through the noise, and we should be using them to our advantage. It's easy to get swept up in the tide of sensationalism. It's easy to click on that headline that promises to reveal shocking truths about our neighbors. But we need to ask ourselves, what's the motive behind this information? Who benefits from this narrative? Is it really about informing the public, or is it about pushing an agenda? In the end, we have to recognize that the fight against fake news is a collective one. We need to hold these media outlets accountable. We need to demand better from our news sources. Because when we allow manufactured narratives to take hold, we're not just harming others, we're harming ourselves. We're eroding the very fabric of truth that holds our societies together. So let's be proactive. Let's engage with the information critically, and let's support those who are committed to uncovering the truth. Together, we can push back against the tide of misinformation and work towards a more informed and united community.